Hello, and welcome to another video. Today I'm gonna share with you 10 of my favorite books of all time, probably. Um, the list, it was a solid list until recently. The list got changed again. So, yeah. Um, the list did get changed again. But yeah, I guess we'll start with what changed on the list, which was my number 10. Before it was The Long Walk, but now it's Foundation and Empire, which is the second book in the Foundation series. And really, I'm combining the two books, and I feel like the third book would probably be here too. But this book it's amazing, like how much detail goes into this universe. Anyways, I did a review on this already. So go look for that. Go look for that review. So anyways, my number 9 would be my number 9 would be a book that probably that just emotionally drove me, and there's Hearts in Atlantis. And I think that again, this book's amazing. They're all amazing. But this book is especially incredible. The way the characters are built are just great. Some of the best characters I've seen in King's work are in this book and all its stories. The only reason it's a bit lower is because there are some parts of this book that kind of lower it down a little bit, but it's just an amazing book. I think this is definitely worth a read. Next book on my list at number 8 would be it'd be The Island of Dr. Moreau. I'm displaying the Time Machine. That's my second favorite Wells, because I don't have Dr. Moreau with me right now. But Dr. Moreau, I like the War of the Worlds. I really liked it, but the language somewhat doesn't really hold up to today's standards. I know Dr. Moreau, the writing still holds up to the today's standards. The topics, the dark, twisted horror nature. It's a horror novel, basically, but it's an excellent horror book. Science fiction as well. It's you could say it's delves into the twisted nature of an animal's mind, and what an animal's mind would look like in a human shaped body. It's very just amazing how he wrote all that. Anyways, that'd be my number 8. My number 7 is a book I don't have with me. It's called Dune. And Dune is this sprawling giant epic that spans an entire planet and follows basically two armies against each other. We follow the army that's basically a house, if you will, that just claimed to planet Dune, and now is getting betrayed. And now it's a new leader has to rise up. That's the detail in the book is excellent. The scale is big enough. It's big enough to where you can process it and think about it, but also small enough so where it's so contained that you don't have to read history book after history book to understand everything. You just read a little 20-page appendix if you need help with it. But yeah, it's an amazing book, and I'd recommend that book. Yeah, it's just great. Now, next on my list would be, what are we at? So this is number 6. Number 6 would be, I Am Legend. Every time I read this book, which I've actually read it a couple times, every time I read this book, it just keeps growing on me. The idea of, especially the whole moral of the whole ending idea of the story, which I won't spoil because some people haven't read this book because it's kind of obscure. But it's obscure, like there's not a lot of copies of it. But like it's just there's a lot of thought. There was a lot of this is a carefully thought out book by Mr. Richard Lehman. I'm Richard Matheson, not Richard Lehman. Lehman's the exploitation guy. But a lot of thought put in this book. Its stories, even the other stories in this little collection are really good too. But the main story, I Am Legend. Oh, just excellent, man. Just another excellent piece. Number 5 would be number 5 on my list would be The Hellbound Heart. And this is Clive Barker's first big foray into horror fantasy thing. His first novella. Because I know you had short stories before this, the Books of Blood and the novel, and then you have the novel Damnation Game, but this is his first novella, which just happens to be this book after the Damnation Game. It's an excellent piece of work, delving down into breaking down the human mind of desire and pleasure and pain, and the ideas in this are just incredible. Like, I think this was like Barker at one of the top of his game. Late 80s Clive Barker was the top of his game. Damn. There's a lot of detail in his work. It's just excellent. Excellent piece. Number 4 would be The Dark Tower of the Gunslinger. It's actually the first book that got me reading. I did an in-depth review on this book. You can go check that out. But maybe it's not the best Stephen King book ever made, but it is the one that got me into reading today. And without this book, I wouldn't be, without this book, I wouldn't have been wanting to have a writing career, because this book, like, I liked reading comics and some stupid-ass children's books beforehand, but then I read this, and I just realized writing is amazing. It's an amazing form of storytelling. It's just that and video games and movies and comic books and stuff. There's just this book showed me the amazingness of storytelling, and the way he builds up such a terrifying world it's incredible. I think it's Stephen King is one of the greatest imaginations probably on earth. I mean, he's probably my second favorite author, probably. But he's incredible talent. So that's why that book is there at number 4. Okay, so this was a bit of a cheat. But most people do classify this as a novel. I classify it's a graphic novel. It's technically a comic series first, but I'll count it because Watchmen is a beautifully written masterpiece by Alan Moore, and published by DC, and the drawings by Dave Gibbons. I think this is a fucking masterpiece. I think this really shows him. I think this book is really like. So much of the stuff in this book is just incredibly written. The backstories of some of the characters, the way they describe such events, everything. It's just an incredibly written book. It's just incredible. And also, this book kind of helped show that comic books are more than just this children's platform. Because, well, yes, there was the darker comics, there was the horror comics. Most of that stuff back then was kind of aimed at kids. The 80s kind of helped show that comic books can tell more adult stories. And this book is an example of was a great example. And, of course, as it says right here, was Time Magazine's 100 best novels. The Lord, Dave Gibbons, and Gandalf himself, Alan Moore. Oh man, this is just a great book. That and From Hell are great things, but I think this one means a lot more to me personally than From Hell. From Hell is amazing too. From Hell is a very amazing book. Oh shoot! Oh, I just dropped some stuff. Alrighty. So number 2 would be The Great and Secret Show by Clive Barker, because this man's imagination is so fucking insane, and the way this guy thinks is as well. He clearly has a lot of great imagination. The way he describes a giant war, secret war happening across all of America, it's just amazing. The characters are incredible. The scenery is just the scenery he tells through words. It's just incredible. But I think the scope and all the characters in this book make this book number 2. And then number 1, I don't have it with me in my hands right now, but Dan Simmons' Hyperion, which I put at number 1 because it's a great book. It really is a great book. Dan Simmons' Hyperion shows that it really shows that it really shows how good science fiction can be in books. The way he tells this grand scale story that will go across thousands upon millions of years is just unmatched. Hyperion. I think the only thing that matches Hyperion is probably Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings is in the main books are in a lot less time span than the entire Hyperion quadrilogy as a whole. And the Foundation series runs a lot longer too. But Hyperion's characters, the way he tells the story, it's one part of the book is religious allegories and stuff. Then the next part of the book is this poetic tale of chaos. Beautifully written book. One of the great examples of fiction. I think it is my favorite book probably ever. I think it's an amazing book. I think it deserves your time if you like good fiction. And that is why it is my number 1 book of all time. Thank you for watching.